What is up, everybody? Welcome back to FNF Bar Talk. Me and Negative Rob are at the bar tonight, and we have another old school review. It's the Boones Farm wines. Everybody remembers these back in the 90s, Hey Mister, and all that kind of good old stuff. So we're going to do a review on these tonight. And before Rob dives into the whole history of the company, I'm going to go over the nutritional facts for these. So the Snow Creek Berry comes in at 460 calories and 73 grams of carbs for the entire bottle. Lips Like Sangria come in at 570 calories, 69 grams of carbs. And the Strawberry Hill comes in at 1,120 calories and 98 grams of carbs. So that one is probably going to be super sweet. The only one I remember from back in the day would be the Snow Creek Berry.
I don't remember drinking Boones Farm back in the day. I remember seeing it, in the cooler with next to all the other cheap stuff, but I don't recall. I don't think I've actually partaken in the delightfulness of that. So, Boone's Farms. I love digging into into the history of a lot of this old school stuff because this is cheap stuff in the refrigerator in like a liquor store and everything. No one really cared. You picked it up; it was cheap. Especially if you're 21 or the card says you're 21. It gets you on that one. With that being said, normally I don't have a problem remembering the history. Boone's Farm's got a lot of history, so I'm gonna go through the short of it. Just pull out some of the fun bits. However, just to put it out there, Boone's Farms does have a fan club. So you can find this stuff online if you're interested in kind of reading a little bit more into it. But it's kind of the untold truth of Boone's Farms. So, a little bit of a tidbit, 28 flavors of Boone's Farms. 28 flavors. So that have been retired. 4, 6, 8, 10 have been retired recently, but 28 flavors of Boone's. So basically, the short is Boone's Farms basically officially started back in the end of Prohibition. So it was from a Joe Gallo was the name of the founder or whatnot for all that. So in the end of Prohibition, it was allowed that during the Prohibition era, families could make up about 200 gallons of wine for personal use. So the Boone's Farms, the Gallo, whatnot, used to supply them with materials and stuff to make that. So, however, a little bit of the darkness when it came to that. At the end of Prohibition, when it was all said and done, apparently Joe Sr. and his wife died from a murder-suicide in 1933 of the same year. So, there's not really much in there. Apparently, the family has been trying to hide some of that because they, don't want it. So, moving on quickly onto that point there, the 3 sons were given custody of the Boone's Farm legacy. 2 of the sons, the oldest ones, I'm assuming, or actually, no, it would not be. Well, I don't know. It's the 30s. Who knows? So, an Ernest and a Julio Gallo basically took over the company, basically forcing out their brother Joe Jr. out of the company. They actually went as far as suing their brother when he tried to use the family name into a cheese line at some point. Don't know when that was. Again, there's not really that much information on that. But they've been going at it since 1933. 1961 is kind of the official Boone's Farm beginning of when they made it apple wine style wines. 1961. Fermented apples, 100% pure fashion apple wine, all that kind of good stuff. Fast forward to 30 years later, in 1991, Congress decides they're going to jack up the tax on the wine 500%. Politics. So E&J, Ernest and Julio, basically went to reformulate many of their budgetings, and they turned their wine into more of a malt beverage to basically skirt out that 500%. They didn't want to pay that 5%. They ain't paying none of your taxes. So they just going to change a little bit of the laws. So basically, They pretty much have on that one. The red sangria is proclaims to be a flavored grape wine, and Strawberry Hill is fermented with citrus. And we don't have the Blue Hawaiian, but that claims to be really an apple wine product. So, um, a lot of history for the Boones. But again, they don't really go into the really good tidbits about the murder, suicide. They don't really say what happened to Joe Jr. after there was decade-long litigation going on between them. So, but who knows what happened to Joe Jr. And to this day, the children or grandchildren of Ernest and Julio run the company. So it's still in the family and it's still going strong. So, I mean, what's it, 2024, 1933, getting up there almost 100 years. So
Yeah, well, I didn't even know all that. That's
so
a lot of history with some of these companies.
And it seems to be with a lot of these 90s drinks. I mean, we did the one with Mad Dog. I mean,
Yeah.
that history went back pretty far. It went back as far as Mad Dog was in the 70s. Didn't know that. We always just figured it was in the 90s. So, but I look forward to going through all the digging and the researching and all that goodness. So,
Yeah, so basically, we're definitely probably going to have a part 2 to this because there is a lot more flavors. I didn't know there were so many. So he did some digging, and that's a lot. We're coming off the Mad Dog review, so if you guys have seen that, there was 9 flavors we did, and that was a pretty fun review. I'm not sure if they changed the formula, the recipe, after so many years because it doesn't taste like how we remembered it in the 90s, and a lot of you guys were commenting about that also, about how it makes you want to, just looking at it makes you want to throw up, and it was terrible, and we're not disagreeing with any of that, trust me, because we remember that from the 90s too. Somebody also commented about Cisco, and I was like, man, I forgot all about Cisco. So thanks for reminding me about that. We will do a review on the Cisco brand if we can find any of them. They are out there though, and that's about it for that. So what are you thinking for these 3 that's going to be the best?
well, I'm not much of a sangria in general. I don't really know. I would have to assume the Strawberry Hill would taste strawberry.
Okay.
Snow Creek is a citrus wine. It's got looks like blueberries or blackberries and raspberries on it. Sounds kind of interesting. So, for me, I'm gonna say probably strawberry is gonna be probably a little bit more in my favor.
All right. Which one you want to start with then?
Well, we'll start with everyone's favorite, I guess, the sangria.
All right. Sangria.
Sangrias.
We also did have somebody who, it's pretty funny. Somebody left a comment on one of the videos and said, a lot of the stuff we try and say that's good, he didn't believe us, and he's had grandma's ass that tasted better. So, I mean, no disputing that. But hey, you know what? Don't let that grandma get away from you, because if it's that good.
Well, I thought about that too when we did the Mad Dog. We're also looking at something that's like 20, almost,
30 years old
ago.
Yeah.
When we were drinking that stuff, we were drinking it to drink it. We weren't drinking it and really actually tasting it. So who knows? By this point, our taste buds have evolved. So
it's good, sweet.
It's actually not bad. I like that.
Great wine with natural flavors, light and refreshing.
It's kind of almost like a grape juice with a little bit of tart on the back, just enough to kind of pull you in. It's actually pretty good.
So this comes in at 7.5% alcohol.
It's actually pretty good.
It is really good.
I was surprised.
Wow. It smells kind of like red wine, but tastes nothing like it.
No, to me, kind of almost like a Welch's with a little bit of tart on the back.
That is really good. All right, which one do you want to do next? Snow Creek or strawberry?
Oh, let's go with the strawberry.
Strawberry Hill. Now this has a lot of calories in it, so I mean, I'm really expecting this to be super sweet. Yeah, well, let's put a little bit in there. Yeah, I remember back in the day, that's two names we always heard a lot: Boone's Farm and Mad Dog.
Got no smell on that one.
It's okay. I don't get a lot of strawberry. It's sweet, but like maybe because it's citrus wine, getting more. But strawberry's not like in your face.
Well, I mean, for me, I'm getting.
So it's not. I mean, it's not bad, but
It's like a strawberry immediately on the tongue and then gone. Right from the beginning. I mean, again, maybe the taste buds are a little different. I'm getting it like immediately and then it's gone. And it's just like, not bland, but just nothing.
well, there you have that.
But, I mean, I wouldn't drink the entire bottle in one sitting.
Yes,
But-
you would. You
You
definitely.
didn't let me finish.
You definitely would.
If it was worth my while, then yes, I would have.
Ah, there we go. That's another debate. All right, so this one also comes in at 7.5% alcohol. All right, so Snow Creek Berry.
So I'm assuming this one should taste like berries. Not as grape intense as the sangria, but
Brace yourself, people, because this alcohol is a lot for this one. 3.9%. Really low.
I'm gonna have to get an Uber.
Oh, man, it smells really good. That is good. I think you'll like this one. I think it's better than the sangria.
Oh.
You can't taste alcohol in that. I mean, it is really low on alcohol, but I think it's like a fruit juice.
It does. Almost more like a candy. So the raspberry is more predominant on that.
I like it.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah.
And they must be anticipating big drinkers drink these because it says this entire bottle has 2 servings. Right on the back. 2 servings. So,
Wow. So we haven't even taken a serving out of there yet.
yeah.
Well, so I stand corrected on this bottle. That one I could probably drink the entirety of.
And you wouldn't even be drunk.
That's good. If they tasted like that back in the day, I can see why they were bought pretty well.
And they're cheap.
However, I don't think that they were probably being refrigerated as much back then. Maybe that's the other reason that we all have those fond memories of these things. Maybe because when you bought it, you never refrigerated them. They weren't cold. You were drinking them pretty much room temperature. I mean, even by today's standards, a lot of drinks are kind of like, at room temperature.
Yeah, to go from this to this, nowhere near sweet now.
What's that? This is no longer sweet?
It's now after drinking that. Whew. I mean, it's still sweet, but you'll see.
Well, it had a little tartness in the back end anyway.
Old Boone's Farm.
Now that kicked out a little bit more wine.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely more tart. This one doesn't say what the servings are on this bad boy.
I think it was 5.
Oh,
5 servings for that bottle.
So we did about 2 or 3. Hmm. Yeah, that one. Yeah, you definitely don't want to go from this one to this one. If you start off with this one, then you're good. So on that, I would have to put, if I was putting these in order. So I would say, yeah, especially going after that one again, I would probably put them in said order: number one, two, and three. Um, Only because this one really doesn't have much flavoring or much. It doesn't. It's like there and gone.
Yeah.
These two, you actually can taste what's going in there. Um, so for me, I would probably get this one a good 8 out of 10. For this one here, on beforehand, and afterwards, I'd give this one probably a good 7. And I mean, don't get me wrong, this one is still good, but in flavoring wise, there's not much there. So I would give this one probably a 5, maybe a good 6, and that's about it. So
Yeah, I'll probably the same order. Definitely be Snow Creek, Sangria, Strawberry Hill. I would just rate them as a whole. I would say, well, that one be by itself, but these two, I'll give these two definitely 7 out of 10. I'll probably give the Strawberry Hill 5 out of 10. It's just like you said, it's not bad, but you only get that flavor for a split second, and then it's gone. I mean, as far as pricing goes, they're cheap. So if you want to pick up a bottle for $4 and get a buzz for pretty cheap, hey, there you go. I mean, that's why I think a lot of these drinks were pretty popular because you could get a lot of drink, a lot of alcohol for a little price. So definitely, good on the easy on the wallet.
yeah, even more or less by today's standards, I guess
Yeah,
they're still cheap when it
yeah,
comes down to it. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, 28 flavors. Well, minus the 10 that were retired. That's still a lot of flavors.
yeah,
That outdoes Mad Dog.
yeah. Definitely want to find them and do another part two to this review. But that's the Boones Farm um, review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have had these, which I'm sure a lot of people have, drop us a comment. Good, bad. We like to engage you guys. But we're going to try to start doing a lot of these retro older drinks. Like me and his era. They seem a lot more fun to do because we haven't had them in so long that we don't really remember what they taste like. If they were bad, yeah, but we remember them being bad, but how bad. So a little tidbit on the next video coming. Good friend of mine, Sean, he came over and he dropped off something for another video, and a lot of people will remember this one. I've never had it. I don't think he's ever had it, but we're gonna do a review on this one. Richard's Wild Irish Rose, another wine product, another oldie, another cheapie, and we're gonna dive into this one, and hey, we're gonna see how it is. So
If I remember those came in like small little bottles.
yes, they
like
did
the
have
Mad
smaller
Dogs.
ones.
They
Yep.
were like miniature flask bottles of that. Whew, yeah, I've
So
never had that.
that'll be an upcoming review. So stay tuned. Subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. This one will be coming soon, along with a lot more older ones and more newer ones too. Anything we usually get our hands on, we just do reviews on it. So as always, drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Anything?
No, enjoy. Take a couple days, a weekend, or whatnot during the summer. Go retro. Grab a couple Boone's Farms, Mad Dogs. Anything that you can find old school. Reminisce a little bit.
Yeah, gonna get a bunch of friends over and break out the old school stuff. You guys can all sit there and just tell stories and remember how bad some of these things used to be.
And for the newer, younger drinkers, the ones that are just getting out there, I mean, I would have to say what brought this kind of back on a little bit was the fact that some of the newer drinks that are out there that you younger drinkers like are kind of reminiscent to these. They're newer, not as that we're finding not as tasteful as the old school, but they're kind of like a reincarnation. So definitely, what they always say, what's old can be new again.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, a lot of the older drinks are getting very trendy now. They're the popularity's coming back with them. So I don't understand it. But yeah, it's cool though. Well, we will see you guys next time for the next review. Stay tuned. And like I said, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. And we will see you guys next time.